Mel, The Weeknd has spoken out against the Grammys after he was left out of this year's nominations. The Blinding Lights singer tweeted this message saying, simply, actually, maybe not so simply, but harshly, the
Right.
Grammys remain corrupt. You owe me, my fans, and the industry transparency. The Recording Academy released a statement courtesy of Chair and Interim President CEO Harvey Mason Jr., who wrote, "We understand that The Weeknd is disappointed at not being nominated. I was surprised and understand that The Weeknd I was surprised and can empathize with what he's feeling. His music this year was excellent, and his contributions to the music community and broader world are worthy of everyone's admiration." Now, he went on to say that they were thrilled to find out that he would be performing at the Super Bowl, and they would have also loved to see him perform on the Grammy stage the weekend before. And he says, unfortunately, there are fewer nominations than the number of deserving artists. And he made it clear that
Mhm.
the voting period in all categories had actually ended, according to him, well before the Weeknd's performance at the Super Bowl was announced. So there's no way that it could have that could have affected his nomination at all. All I know is that I was pretty shocked myself, so I can understand why
Yeah.
the Weeknd, took to Instagram.
No, for sure. And he also took to Instagram with a follow-up message saying, quote, collaboratively planning a performance for weeks to not be invited. In my opinion, zero nominations equals you're not invited. I mean, Denny, you said it. It was a surprise to a lot of people because The Weeknd has had a phenomenal 2020. His single Blinding Lights peaked at #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 and spent 40 weeks in the top 10. But it failed to make the Song of the Year category, which is honestly really shocking. A source close to the situation tells ET that there were, quote, many conversations between the Grammys and the Weeknd's team about his performance slated for the 2021 Grammys. There was an ultimatum given, resulting in a struggle over him playing the Super Bowl that went on for some time and was eventually agreed upon that he would perform at both events. The Grammy had their nomination ballots as of October 12th, as you said, Denny, and all of these combos with the Weeknd team in the past month. And today, on the November 24th, the Weeknd had not one nomination, and now it's completely ignored by the Grammys. This was the year that they were supposed to rise up. What is the process and where is the transparency? So that is from a source close to the situation.
Meanwhile, a second source told us the Grammys and the Super Bowl will both air on CBS. Of course, they wanted him to perform on both events, but the source adds the Super Bowl performance was likely to be promoted during the Grammys. I feel like, first of all, you talked about an amazing year that the Weeknd had, and I
Hmm.
was so shocked that he didn't get not one nomination that I literally thought maybe he and his team didn't submit the paperwork in time. Like that's how much I was shocked that he wasn't nominated. That being said, I think it's fair to say that a lot of times who the Grammys and the Recording
Yeah.
Academy deem as the record of the year, song of the year, album of the year isn't always necessarily what is the most popular, what everyone's listening to at the same time. We've seen that time and time and again, and that's because think about it, the Billboard charts, those are based purely on numbers, right? The
Right.
folks who are listening, the fans who are buying the records, etc. Whereas with the Recording Academy, it's a select body of people who are voting, right? And all of that is so subjective. And a perfect example of that actually is Nicki Minaj. She actually took to Twitter to remind
Hmm.
folks that the year that she lost Best New Artist, that the Grammys gave it to Bon Iver, and she says, I was the highest selling female rapper. I had the biggest debut of any female rapper, and they still didn't give me the best new artist. But again, I feel like, the Grammys, they're subjective. There's no way
Yeah.
that they can give out the awards that truly reflect what the fans are listening to, who's doing the best on the charts. And so it's kind of hard, in my opinion, to come down on them. You know what I'm saying?
It is hard, and I feel for the artists as well because yes, they can complain and say all of these things, but because of the rich legacy that the Grammys has, you still want that trophy, right?
Oh,
You
for sure.
still want that award. And the Grammys, as you said, it's not necessarily based off of the charts and it's not based off of fans. This is the only peer voted music award show. And
Mhm.
what artist does not want to be celebrated by their peers? But The Weeknd, he's not not the first artist to make these complaints. So it does make you wonder what type of politics are at play when it comes to the nominations. I want to bring up Justin Bieber because he
Yeah.
also questioned the Grammys for nominating him in the pop and not R&B category. He took to Instagram sharing that his album Changes was intentionally made R&B and he should have been recognized as such, saying, quote, "To be clear, I absolutely love pop music. It just wasn't what I set out to make this time around. My gratitude for feeling respected for my work remains, and I am honored to be nominated either way." Now, this I think it sparks a larger conversation, Denny, about award shows and how honestly they all could do a bit better when it comes to
Yeah.
putting artists in a box because of maybe the color of their skin or what they are used to putting out into the music industry. It reminds me of Billie Eilish when she spoke out about being a white teenage girl always puts her into the pop category when her
Right.
music is not necessarily pop. So there are a lot of things that need to be changed, but I respect the Weeknd for being vocal about it because as
Yeah.
we've seen in previous award shows, that's how things actually change.
And honestly, things are changing. The Recording Academy actually put some measures in place this year to address the lack of diversity that they've been criticized for in the past. So I feel like, hopefully they'll take what the Weekend is saying, what their fans are outcrying about, and maybe do
Mhm.
something about that to change, the standards and practices as we see it now. But time will tell. The Grammys sure do know how to put on a party, though. So I can't wait when they air
Yes.
January 31st on CBS.